What's up, beautiful gemstones? Welcome to Afternoon Talk with me and Ghostdragonzw. Trying to get comfy in my little chair here, but it's not really working. All right, there we go. Slow motion, welcome. Blue Crossroads, hi. Mike Roberts, Ryan Smethurst. How are you guys doing? I hope you all had a great weekend. Richard Elmore, what is up? So our guest canceled at the last minute again. So I don't think we're going to be doing guests on this show. But I mean, if someone comes and they want to come on, if any of you guys want to come on, I hope you enjoyed the premiere to Portals to Hell. I know most of you guys were in there. What's up, Chillin' Charlie? That was a really long one. That script was like 9,000 words. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And next Monday, we're going to be talking about the Alaska Triangle. Grey Wolf, hi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Grey Wolf, you just reminded me of one of my first really quick announcements. Guys, if you haven't gotten your May reading yet and you either paid for one, you're a patron, or you're supposed to get one, I'm doing the rest of them today. With only having T-Mobile Wi-Fi in the house and living in the woods, I didn't realize how bad that was going to be. And it takes me, where normally it would take 15 to 20 minutes to upload a half-hour video, it actually takes 5 to 7 hours to upload one reading. So it's taking me a little bit longer than usual, but I am getting them out, so don't worry. I also have you guys, I hope you all saw the video with Jive Creations, the shirts that they sent me. I'm going to be thinking about a contest to gift the one with the skulls. If you didn't see that, it's like 3.5 minutes. Go and watch that after the stream if you can. I want to do an Ask Anything, a Q&A with myself and Ghostdragonzw, and I'm going to make these announcements at the end as well, because I know more people will come in. But a lot of people ask me like about, I was talking about the Black Dahlia visiting me, and I'd mentioned to someone else, that I had gotten a visit, when all of it was happening, Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie. I've spoken to, some other mostly murder victims or murder suspects. And I know a lot of you guys are really interested in that, and you had questions. So questions like that, questions about us, questions, whatever. I want to do a Q&A. So GemmaJadeParanormal@gmail.com. Send in your questions, guys, and we can have a really great stream next time of Ghost Dragons and I just answering questions. Judy Wheeler, good morning. Also, don't forget, and this is the last thing, and then I'll bring Ghost Dragons in and we'll get to our topic for today. Well, not really topic, but just something I wanted to talk to you guys about. Don't forget the Paranormal Press magazines, the articles that I did in these. Thomas is just such a sweetheart, and I really want to promote TMP Press. I really do, because they gave me an opportunity, a chance to write, for a magazine, a big international magazine, and I feel like I should be promoting it a little bit better. So the article I did in here, once again, I did not think this through, and Thomas did tell me how to find my own article, but I forgot what he had said. So anyway, I have one in here about, I believe this is the one about the shadow people and the jinn. So check that out. This is the 6th issue. So the second one I did, it's got Bigfoot on the front, and it's got Crystal Blevins, okay, on the, I guess that's the front, 2 fronts, 2 covers. Then the first one I did is the Demon Claire. I did a video about that. You've got me there, Mrs. Gemma Jade, even though it's Miss, but he apologized profusely for that and said he was going to make it right. And then one more thing I want to do really quick. And I know, what's up, girl? Before we get into today, is he did the UFO coloring book, Confidential Adventures with the UFO Aerial Phenomenon. Okay, so if you guys have copies of those magazines or this, you can email me. I'll sign it and send it off to you. But what I want to do is the picture of me in here. I just think it's so awesome. And my Wi-Fi is being wonky, like I just said. So here I am. If you guys get an edition of this, a copy of this, and color it and show it to me, I'm going to send you a really awesome, I'll make sure there's a big old real genuine crystal in the box. I will make sure I will send you a really amazing gift box and a thank you from me. Let me bring in Ghostdragonzw. He's saying, nope. Hold on a second. Hold on. Okay, there you go.
There you go. Hey, everybody. How you doing? I'm just going to hang out. I did
I
a lot
still,
of chatting earlier.
I still cannot find flavored core or flavored smart water, but hint has blueberry lemon, so I'm good with that. All right, guys. Do you have anything else before I get started here?
No. Oh, I was going to ask you while we're here, real quick. I'm going to do, chilling and chatting on Friday nights, like a vibing with Steve at midnight or Dragons. Saturday night, I'd like to stream at midnight, and I'm going to do subjects, topics.
I would love
But
it.
I want to wait until I get home. That way, I have all my research. So from now on, Friday nights would just be chilling and talking like we've been doing. I lasted 2 hours the other night. I
was going to announce all that at the end, what we plan on doing going forward. And you can stream anytime you want. I will always set it up for you, or I can teach you how to set it up. You can do that way. If I teach you how to do it, you can just do it on a whim. Like, oh, I feel like streaming. I do not care at all. Between you and Lara, you guys bring in views, and I know everyone loves you guys and loves the information and what you guys have to offer. So, guys, I was meditating the other day. I've lost a lot of weight. A lot of you have noticed, commented on it in a nice way, nothing rude or vulgar or anything. Like when I gained the weight, a lot of people were talking pretty terribly about it. Not you guys, of course, but I always have something on my screen right where my face is. So I was, I have been doing the 310 nutritional shakes, but I've only been doing that for the past week. I do super reds and greens in the morning for like the past year and a half. And I was doing 15 minutes of yoga a day, which isn't really a lot up until about 2 weeks ago. Then I started doing 45 minutes to an hour in 15-minute intervals. Oh, thank you, Grey Wolf. I did, though. I gained about 60 pounds in the last year and a half to 2 years. And then in the past maybe 6 months or so, I've lost at least 40.
She's looking good.
I do put work in and I do take care of myself, but I really don't. Like, I eat anything and everything. And when I was heavier, I ate anything and everything. And now that I'm skinnier, I eat anything and everything. And I don't know why it popped into my head, but I guess someone had asked me in the stream on Wednesday night. And I actually found out, and I did a little additional research on this. It's not that I don't believe my guides or spirit, but I like to have just like some backup, maybe to try to understand what they're telling me better. So we know that water is an energy conductor, right? That's a good way to put it?
Yeah.
And our bodies are made up of a lot of water. Now, I'm not going to have scientific statistical facts here because that's just not me. So when we are going through an amazing, I don't want to say rapid, but radical spiritual awakening, okay? And this threw me for a loop. Our body will start retaining water in order to keep up with all of the energy, literal energy that we're expelling and expending. Okay.
That's why camels have humps. That's why camels have humps.
Yeah, but I'm talking about spiritual energy.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what we would liken it to. But our body does that instinctively. Just like when you're going to die, as you were contracted to die, your soul will know about 4 months before the death, even though you will not be conscious of it. Okay. So it's kind of like that. Your body knows what it's doing. Okay. Your body's able to heal itself. It knows what it's doing. So you start gaining the weight. Okay. I have no allergies except to artificial sweetener. Once you get through that process, which usually takes, it depends really on you, but it takes about 6 months to a year. This is when you're going through a major awakening, spiritual awakening. Then you start rapidly losing weight, almost to the point where it might concern you. Now, I never would say that you should not go to a doctor if you're gaining or losing too much weight. You guys know that, but I'm just talking about spiritual awakenings. Then all of a sudden, and this is what happened with me, and I was not even aware of it until I was talking to my guides the other day. This is why I put on all the weight for the first time in my life. Aside from when I was pregnant, I was heavy, right? Heavier. It was heavy for me because I'm usually 127 pounds, soaking wet. And I got up to about 176 at my biggest last summer. So then your body, once you get more used to being in that frequency on that higher vibration, okay, your body, the water weight starts, going and expelling from your body, and then you start losing weight. So those are 2 ways that you can know that you might be going through a major spiritual process that your mind is not even aware of. Now, you will know it more than likely if you're a light worker, if you're in this stream, if you're, involved in this community at all. You probably notice that the way you see the world is changing, the way that you communicate with people is sincerely changing, not like you're just being kind to be kind because that's what you're supposed to do. Like you will literally, that brings me into the next thing. Okay. You will literally feel things, as in touch. It'll be like everything tingles. You will be extra ultra sensitive though to feeling, emotionally feeling everything around you. Now with empaths, we're used to that. This is to a degree where it probably, when it happens to you, I remember having a breakdown. Like, I can't live like this if I'm going to be taking on this much. Like, I can hear people's thoughts. If I don't, watch out, I can do so many different things. I can feel people's emotions, but this is to such a degree, guys, this will start happening that you really just, you don't know what to do. This is why a lot of us go into hermit mode, where we don't want to interact with other people. It's also your body and your mind knowing that the spiritual transformation process is underway, and you should be, that's a way to protect yourself from picking up even more than what you already do as an empath and or a light worker. Okay.
Bruce Lee says, and one of Bruce Lee's famous quotes is, "Be like water, ever flowing, ever changing, ever growing." That's a part of the spiritual world too. He wants you to take part of that energy.
Right. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. But as far as awakenings go, you're also going to, the tag on my shorts is itching me, guys. I'm sorry. I should have cut it off. I'm like, what am I scratching my butt? And then one other thing is you will start to, I lost my place. There's one other thing that I had in my head, and I'm like, we have to talk about this. Yeah, be water, great analogy. Absolutely perfect. The main thing I was really focused on and really wanted to talk about was the weight thing. But I think also what we really start to go through is this transformation process of how we, like I said, see the world, how we view others. And we will start to, without even realizing it, understanding that we are not one. The connection to source becomes so much more evident. And that's when we start really having this deep empathy and this deep compassion, especially for the people that normally we would just tolerate, or, like I said, be kind to because it's the polite thing to do and then move on. We'll start to understand people like that better and really be able to work with them. So those are some things. These are things I want to do videos on, but I'm already so worried bringing the anytime. And I know I shouldn't worry about this stuff, but I do, because my channel is my baby. It's a project I've been working on for years. It's finally growing to the point where I'd like to see it, onward and upward. I want to bring spirituality videos of things that I learned from my guides, that I learned from spirit. But I'm worried because even with bringing the Anytime Oracle in, before I even did that, like when I was just doing Oracle and I stopped doing the pre-recordeds because nobody was watching them, people were like, oh, all you do is Oracle. What happened to the paranormal stuff? So I'm bringing in Anytime Oracle. I'm hoping for June. I'm hoping to get started on that this week. And it's slow and steady. So once a month, one video for each sign. But the thing is, it's not going to be a June 2023 reading unless you watch it in June 2023. It's basically whenever you watch it, that's when you need to hear the message. And if you come back to it 4 years from now, Lord willing, I'm still here 5 years from now, it's going to be your message again. And that's the energy that I'm pouring into Anytime Oracle. And that's why it took over a year for me to be ready to do it, because I needed to make sure that I was going to be bringing in eternal messages. we start thinking, this is the way I wanted to put it, on an eternal level. We're not thinking about, the same things as the people around us, and it's very evident. Yes, Chill and Charlie, I'm going to be putting the Anytime Oracle on Moonbear, growing that channel so that eventually this channel will not include the Anytime Oracle. It'll just be on that channel, but because I want to monetize it. So maybe now that you brought that up, I can put the spiritual videos also over on Moonbear Oracle, because I know a lot of you guys went over there and subscribed, and I kind of just dumped that channel because I just didn't have the time. And that's why it took me a year in planning on that channel to even, get it up. And then I didn't have the time to do it. But I do have, I wouldn't say extra time now, but I can make the time to do it because it is important to me to bring these things to you guys. And I hear that. The 310 nutritional shakes on Amazon for 28 days is like $90. I went to the 310 website with the $7 shipping, even though it's not overnight. So now I don't have them for the next 4 or 5 days. And a discount code that they gave me. It was only $40 and change total with the $7 shipping. So, but that's still for me is expensive. $40 a month, that's a big expense for me. Go ahead, Stephen. I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. I was going to say on your Anytime Oracle reading, you put on your thing, if you find this or run into this, you were meant to see it.
Obviously. Of course.
Okay, I'm done. I want to go play the piano.
But wait, of course, of course I'm going to explain what it is. I want people
I'm just
to know
saying
that, because normally I do put this is for June, this is for July. I'll explain that in the beginning, and also, sun, moon, and rising, because those are such big aspects of our chart, our personality, right? And I think people don't really understand that. I think people you're a Virgo, right?
Yep.
I didn't mean that the way it came out. I know it sounded really rude, but I'm just yeah, duh. Of course.
No, I meant when you put it when you put it on YouTube, you just put, this is what month it is. And if you find this, or somebody who knew comes stumbling along and they just happen to stumble on the video, you were meant to find this. You were meant to hear this.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And I see a lot of people doing that now, which I think is great, because personally, I watch Minnow Pond Tarot, Cancer's Moon Tarot, and 7D Tarot. Those are the three that I trust. 7D, lately he's been putting the same message. So it'll say, Pisces, amazing surprise, you won't believe this. Gemini, amazing surprise, you won't believe this. Down the line. And his wife started doing it too. But because I'm not a big fan of her, I called her out on it and I left him alone. I just asked, why do they all say the same thing? I wasn't rude or anything like that. So I'm not too sure, but Minnow Pond for sure. Chris is amazing. He's who I learned tarot, how to read tarot from. Not so much the channeling, obviously, because I just channel, but the cards, the meanings of the cards, and what meanings he interprets. If you never watched Minnow Pond Tarot and you're looking for monthly tarot readings, oh my God. He is on point, accurate every single time. He's a Pisces sun, but I believe he's also a Gemini moon. And that's what I mean. There's all these different aspects. So when I listen to tarot, I listen to Pisces, Libra, which is my moon sign, and Aries, which is my rising sign. A lot of people will also listen to their Venus sign. I don't read for Venus unless somebody asks me for a love reading. Yeah, his wife, Alicia, I love her. I think she's amazing. But I think I've mentioned this before. I don't think she should, in my opinion, be reading tarot. I think she should do spiritual videos. I think she would be amazing, because she pulls, maybe 7 cards. She goes through 1 or 2 cards, and then she gets stuck on the second card, goes off on a spiritual rant, and then the rest of the reading just falls by the wayside. So, that's, and you can tell she's channeling though, because she does the same thing I do, and that so many other mediums do. She's not a medium, but mediums do it. People that channel do it. Will be like, the like stuttering, because there's always so much going on. I used to say all the time. If you watch my interview with Dave Scott when we talked about Robot Granny, see, I said it constantly because there's other conversations happening that you guys can't hear, people you guys can't see that I can. And no matter how much I try to block them out, some still get through. So I'll lose my focus, like when I forget things, which is a lot of the reason why I have to have notes in front of me when I do the videos. People are like, can't you do it without reading? Well, number one, that would probably take me about 7 hours because I will remember 3 sentences. And then as I'm reading them, I will get distracted by whoever just came in, so that is a lot of the reason, but I'm working on getting a teleprompter. So hopefully that makes everyone calm down, because that's really the only complaint that I ever get. And I don't usually get it as a complaint. I get it as people are like, hey, I really love your, scripts. I love the way you write, but is it possible that you could not read? It's very distracting. No, it's not possible right now. Sorry.
I'll just stand there and hold cue cards for you.
Yeah, 10,000 words. That would be something.
That's funny. Yeah, it'd be cool though. You just to read off the cards, and I just make a big pile behind me.
Cold tea. I thought about making my own, but it just never tastes the same. I was so excited. Yeah, Ryan Smethurst, right? You remember my phone number from when I was 7 years old, but I can't remember my password that I just created 10 minutes ago. I think that was a meme I put on Facebook the other day.
Yeah.
So I want to say shout out to the lady at ShopRite in Parsippany. Yesterday, I was looking for this cream cheese fruit dip that I just absolutely love, but they only had the big $31 fruit trays with the cream cheese in it. You could not just buy. So she brings me over. I'm like, it's Meitzer's or whatever it's called. I'm like, please, it's my favorite, because I've started watching what I'm eating. And I didn't even realize I was doing it because I've never done that before. I've never dieted. I've never done anything like that. And it's part of the spiritual awakening that I want to, deep down inside, subconsciously get healthy. And, because I'm becoming more spiritually healthy and my body is becoming in tune with that frequency. So that's another thing. I think that's the one that I was forgetting. So I asked her, I was like, please, I really want to buy this fruit tray, the $19 one. I do not want to buy the $31 one, but I need that spread. So she brings me over to it. She looks it up. She says, we have it. But she brings me over and she walks away because some guy was like screaming at her because he couldn't find the right fish dip or something he was looking for. It was gross. So she brings me over and it's all vegetable dip, cream cheese vegetable dip, this vegetable. I said, oh, come on. So I was like, oh, when she walked, I said, I appreciate you, but just so you know, I'm like, there's not even a spot for it. I was like, but thank you for taking the time. I was nice about it. I said, I'm going to go check by the cream cheese. So I go by the cream cheese, and as I'm looking and not finding it, I knew it wasn't there. I was going to just grab some Greek vanilla yogurt. And she's like, well, the lady who was looking for, and like the big intercom for the Meitzer's or whatever it's called, cream cheese dip, please come to the courtesy counter. I was like, oh, she found some. So I went up. I was like, oh my gosh, yay, where did you find it? She's like, I opened one of the bigger fruit trays for you. She's like, we'll just say I found it in the back. I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. So it ended up being $3. It was awesome. And I ate already that entire $18 fruit tray. I ate it for dinner last night. I ate it for lunch yesterday, and I ate it for breakfast this morning. Delicious, just saying. So thank you, lady who I did not get your name at the ShopRite in Parsippany. I'm all about that.
That's funny because it doesn't help when a guy sends you cookies and boxes of candy, Red Bull
every once in a while, but I'm still drinking the blueberries, if you notice.
Yeah, I noticed.
I've taken it down with the Red Bull a lot. I use them for streams, and I'll use them after I take my second med for the day. I will chug one real fast because it does give me a big energy boost. The 310 Nutrition, I was drinking one in the morning, and it was covering breakfast and lunch for me. But it was also so much energy. So now today I'm like, oh my gosh, please don't let me need a nap. Please let me just keep focusing on this and keep myself kind of in tune and in alignment. Dropped your phone. I hope it's okay.
Well, he accidentally bumped Chillin' Charlie out.
Oh, I'm not in YouTube. Who did that? Oh, he dropped his phone did he block Charlie?
It says Charlie was unhidden. Oh, he unhidden him, so he's back.
Okay. Sorry, Charlie.
I hate saying that because every time I hear that, I think of the tuna fish commercial.
Sorry, Charlie.
Sorry, Charlie.
You guys are hilarious. So, guys, every other Thursday night, I am going to be with Ghostdragonzw and Miss Lara starting this Thursday, because I thought that certain things were happening in my house once I got home, and I trusted in that, and I had an expectation that what was talked about would actually be what's happening. But once again, my own expectations have caused me tremendous hurt and let down. So those things are not happening. So I can do the stream. I'm going to do it twice a month to give myself a break and also to give Miss Lara the opportunity to have her own time. So this Thursday night will be me, Ghost Dragons, and Lara at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Well, actually, it'll be Laura and Gemma, and I'll be in the background going,
Lara.
Laura.
In case you guys are wondering who Laura is. Lara. Wednesday night, of course, myself and Ghost Dragon CW with Live Intuitive Oracle. Friday nights, for now, it's Midnight Vibes with the Ghost Dragon over here all by his lonesome. And then once he gets back into his home, he's probably going to do a Saturday night one as well, which is great. Then every other Monday here. Thank you. And yeah, and you know what? That's another thing that's really changed with me. It's just like this whole thing with me, and I never thought I would be able to be like this, like being unaffected by other people's narcissism, other people's, even when it's directly affecting me, right? So I'm good with myself. I know the universe is moving for me in big ways. I know if I just keep doing the next right thing, I'm going to be okay. To hold on to all of that when your heart is breaking inside of your chest, but to really mean it and not just be like, okay, I've got to think positive. I've got to, I've got to do something with this anger because I know arguing with this person is going to get me nowhere because they're a narcissist and it doesn't matter to them. I can yell, scream, cry, beg, get on my hands and knees. I can threaten, I can break things. I can come kindly and with love and speak and say, it just doesn't matter. So I'm so excited that I am going through an awakening because it makes my life so much easier. It makes my life more tolerable and livable. And especially being a recovering addict, that peace of mind is really important because, let's face it, I can use at any given moment. And I know some of you were worried about me last week. I really was sick. And I just want to say that real quick because I had about 5 people ask me if I had a relapse or if and I appreciate that because I appreciate that people are looking out for me and that people are going to hold me accountable if that happens. That's really good to know because when you don't have friends or family that are going to hold you accountable, it's very easy to get away with things, right? I'm actually tearing up. So if I were sick in that way, you would not see me or hear from me at all because I would be so sick that my only thing I would be doing would be getting what I needed. So there wouldn't be like me streaming while I'm drug sick because it wouldn't be possible. I would be laying in fetal position covered in my own vomit and pee.
That's rough.
Yeah, it is. It is nice. I know, like, if I were to have relapsed, it would have been a pain in the butt because I would have been like, I just want to live my life. Like, I know the whole thought process. It's like nobody can ever be concerned about you when you relapse because then it becomes like immediate selfish mentality of like, how dare they? Right. How dare they not let me live my life? I'm 40 years old. You know what I'm saying? So, well, I appreciate that, guys. I really did have strep. I still do have a little touch of it. Poor RJ still has a little rash, but we're doing good. We're doing the best we can. Yeah, it's clearing up. We got him off the amoxicillin, even though the doctor was like, well, it might be amoxicillin. It might not be. Might be strep. I'm like, I need to know if he's allergic to amoxicillin because that means he's allergic to penicillin, and that could be a fatal allergy.
Right.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, because
so we were almost at the 10 days with the medicine anyway. Yeah, with that, you don't take it all; you just take it for X amount of days.
Right.
So we're done, and it looks like it's clearing up. They gave us the Lotrimin and all that. So
yeah, with Giles when he was young. He got sick and they gave him the amoxicillin. Well, it's a sulfur-based product. It almost killed him. It turned out he was allergic to sulfur-based products.
Oh my gosh.
And he was sick for like 2 weeks, had rashes. Oh, that poor kid, you could tell he was like 3 years old. You could tell it was just tearing him up.
That's the thing. Hey, Vixen Doe. That's the thing with RJ though. Like, and I don't want to talk about him too much because his father does not like when I talk about him publicly. But I will say that he never complains. Like, I had to notice this rash on him, and he's scratching away, and he's just like, whatever. Like, he's so like, whatever. It doesn't, he would never come to me and say, Mommy, look at my, like, it doesn't even, whatever. It's just like another bruise to him.
See, that was with Giles. She didn't notice until she went to change his diaper. And he didn't cry or nothing, but it was really bad down in there and everything. And it was like, and then it spread. And that kid did not cry, complain, or nothing.
You can ask my mom with Damien. Damien has always been like, and this isn't just because he's my son. I mean, everybody has said it. He's been like exceptional in I guess because he is very enlightened. He came with recall. He's a medium. The kid never cried ever. He never cried. It is in his entire life. I mean, he cried from when he was 6 months till he was like 13 months with colic.
Right.
But it started at 6 months, which was weird. He did not cry when he was born. He just didn't cry. He would fall, bash his head in. No, he didn't cry. Man, it was crazy. Little guy's the same way. He busted his lip open, cut from here to here. And I have a video of him, lip busted open, bleeding, dancing in the car to Nelly's Hot in Here, singing with his lip. I mean, his lip was, he still has a scar from here to here. It was just rips. Yeah.
Well, when I was young, we were down at the creek, and there's a hill, and I was at the bottom of the hill, and there was a guy lobbing rocks over, and it hit me in the back of the head, and one hit me in the back of the head. I walk all the way home. I didn't even know I was bleeding. I just felt the thud, and I started getting a little bit of headache. I walk in the house, and I turn around, and as I'm walking to the house, Mom's screaming. I'm going, "What are you screaming at?" And I guess this is blood just oozing out of the back of my head. And I'm like, "Okay, well, go get stitches."
Blue Crossroads, you're so funny. I was saying, hold on, let me type that. Blue Crossroads said that he was getting plane tickets for him and Anna to come to New Jersey. No, I was really sick, but I do appreciate that, guys. You guys, like I said, it's a deterrent because it's like, well, then I'm gonna have to deal with that BS. Like, what do? I can't, you know what I mean? Like, when I was in that life before I started YouTube, it was like I could disappear. Like, I remember saying, like, if something were to actually happen to me and I disappeared, nobody would have noticed for like probably like a year, because I would just go off grid. I'd be at my house in Patterson, but nobody knew that. Nobody knew where I lived. I didn't have a cell phone. They wouldn't last very long. Nobody knew me until like I met Ray. Then Ray would always try to be conscious of where I was, what I was doing, where I was staying, so that, if something did happen to me, but honestly, my family wouldn't have noticed because I did. So it was very nomadic. And I think that's a lot of the reason why I've become so introverted, because I wasn't always an introvert. I was an introvert through high school because of my abilities. It made me very uncomfortable. I couldn't talk to people about it. I'd be hanging out with my friends and I'd have to pretend like there weren't dead people in the room. It was hard. But I was pretty outgoing in like my 20s. And then it was just like, forget it.
Yeah, see, I had a small group of friends I hung around with school, but most of my friends were people I worked with because I went to school and worked in the afternoons because I was always in work programs. So it was like I had two sets of friends, but it was always just like two or three other people that I really bonded with.
Yeah, it's very, abilities like ours can be very distancing. They can put distance between you and someone else. Yeah, it is contaminated. I got out right before, like literally 2 months before fentanyl started knocking everyone out, and I've lost so many people since then. I would say in the 4.5 years I've been off drugs and alcohol, that I've lost 22 people, and 2 of them were to cancer. Most recently, my Uncle Benny, I told you guys a few weeks ago, the end of April, that he passed a couple days before his birthday. I don't even think he was 50 years old. And it makes me worried because, you know, my dad is still in active addiction. So,
Yeah, it does.
What else did I want to talk to you guys about? So yeah, guys, just keep that in mind with spiritual awakening. You know, that those things, if you start to experience any of those things, like I said, if you're worried about it, definitely go see a doctor. But I'm telling you, if it's real spiritual awakening, I don't think it's going to affect you mentally. Like, I didn't worry about the weight for some reason. I mean, I did every once in a while be like, wow, I'm really packing on the pounds. What's going on? I thought it was my medication, but I'm like, I've been on it for so long, there's no way. But it didn't concern me like you'd think it would from someone who's used to weighing 127 to 130 pounds, weighing almost 180. It just didn't. And I feel like that was the awakening. So I'm thinking about a lot of videos to do about things like that. And I probably will put them over on Moon Bear as well, so I can start building that channel, because you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 view hours in order to monetize a channel.
Right.
It used to be just 1,000 subscribers. It actually used to be nothing. You could just monetize, but that was back when YouTube was the Wild West, before they started making rules about everything. So, yep, doing really well, guys. I'm feeling better. I still do, like I said, have a touch of it. Got back to church yesterday, which I was super excited about. It was really cool. What did we talk about? I'm not going to talk about religion. Don't worry. I'm just trying to think. We were in the book of First Corinthians, the letter to Corinth. So that was cool. That's one of my favorite books.
You got big ears.
And RJ, for some reason, he came out of E-Town, which is the church I go to, is, you know, Sunday school for kids, with these giant ears that fit on your head with a string. They were made out of a paper plate. I've always been, in my family, joked, I've been called Dumbo. I knew my mom was going to laugh. My stepdad used to buy these fake ears and put them on and just sit on the couch. You know, something I was very self-conscious about growing up was how big my ears are. And so when he came out, I was like, my mom is going to die when she sees these. But I think it was ears for hearing the message from the Apostle Paul to the church in Corinth. So
yeah, you didn't see my comment, did you? I put in the thing.
I usually don't look at comments.
I know you don't.
I just and I know someone in my life doesn't believe that. They're like, you post all these pictures of yourself, and I'm like, yes, I do. I'm like, I'm proud of the way I look. I lost all my hair. I weighed 86 pounds. You know, I feel good about myself. So what? And it became an issue, and I was like, whatever, I'm not stopping doing it. I like it. And they insisted that you know, there's no way I don't look at comments, because I'm posting the pictures to get a reaction out of people. But I really don't read comments for the most part. There might be some things I put up that I'll check the comments, or if I'm bored and I'm scrolling through, I don't have time for all that. Plus, good morning, baby UFO. I want to tell you guys too, I just rediscovered Audible. I had 5 credits on there, and I got the Demon Memnock from Anne Rice. So I'm listening to that. So good luck getting in touch with me for the next couple of days.
Oh, and what I was going to say was, in the picture, he scribbled green in the ears. And I said, see, that's what happens when you have gnomes around your house. Green hair starts to grow out of your ears.
He did that because he was lazy and didn't want to take the time, because he also came out with a picture of the Apostle Paul holding the Bible, and Apostle Paul was all green and the book had a little bit of blue on it. You know, he wanted to play because they have new toys there. Good morning, baby UFO. It is 12:40 here on the East Coast. If you mean me,
yeah, they're talking about you.
If you mean me, I am working on it. It's something I just have to get a certain amount of money, which, you know, I am saving for it a very little bit at a time. But I want my license back too, let me tell you, because I haven't legally been able to drive since 2007, January of 2007, I lost my license. So, and I only got it in April of 2005. So, yeah, I got my license very late in life.
And don't worry, I keep a pretty good close eye on her. Ask her.
Chill and Charlie, it's so funny you say that about the wigs because I have them all around the house, but I was just dusting off the burgundy one that I really, really liked. And I was like, do I want to put the ponytail on or do I want to wear the wig today and blow their minds? And I decided on the ponytail because I've got a lot of writing to do. Brought this dog to the vet who picked him up by the ears and paws and said, I'm going to have to put him down. He's just heavy. My cat, it's really funny. My cat hasn't hissed at me since 2 days ago, but he's still like, you can't pet him. RJ can't play with him. I'm like, I really just don't want him here. I'm sorry. Like, I feel so bad saying that, but I wanted a pet. I didn't want another mouth to feed who I have to worry. I cannot walk around my house without socks on. So we found someone who wants a barn cat. And I think Ralphie will be perfect for barn cat because he loves being outside, but he'll be contained where he will not be able to get out and get harmed and hurt. He just got, neutered. He has calmed a little bit, but it's really not anything significant. Trying to move this back to the, maybe the spiritual or whatever, but I really don't know what else to talk about. I know, like I said, guys, don't forget, and I'll try to post a thing in the community reminding you guys that I want to do a Q&A in 2 weeks. So this live stream in 2 weeks with myself and Ghostdragonzw. The reason I thought of it was, like I said, a lot of people, like last Wednesday when I had the Black Dahlia with me, I had mentioned to someone else that I had seen Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie, Jack the Ripper. There's just like a lot of famous, I guess I would say, dead people, a couple of the Texas Killing Field killers, because I guess I get so enmeshed in the documentaries about these things that I bring the energy in. And people are just like fascinated. And they're like, I'm like, listen, I want to channel publicly, but that's not going to be for a while. That's not going to be till like Moon Bear, when I pull someone in and just let you guys ask questions in the chat, and I ask them while we're here, and I bring the questions back, the answers back to you guys. I do plan on doing that, just not on this channel. And I think this is a good way to get that started. But you can ask questions about anything.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, baby. Thank you so much. I will help her a lot.
Thank you so much. That is amazing. Sincerely, thank you. Wow. I didn't see it at first. You see it before
it just
me because
popped
you're
up
on YouTube. Big
I'm on both.
Thank you. It definitely does. It helps very, very much. You guys basically, I mean, I have writing jobs. I don't want to say you guys are my full, who I'm dependent on, but between when I get paid for those, yes, you guys, I am totally dependent. Thank you so, so, so much. I appreciate all of you, and I do appreciate that very much.
I'm freezing.
Ah, he's frozen. Nightmare, what's up?
There we go. Okay, I'm going to step away for a second.
Yeah, go ahead. We're going to end in about 15 minutes anyway. Yeah, well, Ryan, you're right. I do. And some people are getting on me about it. They're like, you got it, it's your responsibility, and I'm like, I know, but I got him as a kitten, right? So the first thing he ever did, RJ went up and pet him, Ray went up and pet him, I went up, I didn't even touch him. I just said, "Aw, hi, buddy," and he turned around and hissed and clawed at me. He just doesn't like me. I'm the dominant one in the house. But now he's also very spiteful. I'll tell you about Ralphie is if you I'll use Ray as an example. So if Ray is coming in and out with stuff or whatever from the yard or whatever he's doing, and the cat tries to get out, we can't let the cat get out. Okay, because there are bears, there are coyotes, there's who knows what, there's, other cats. Like, I'm afraid the cat will get killed. Okay, possums, mice, like, you don't know. So, Ray will move him, and the cat will get mad and go back, and it'll happen like 10 times before finally Ray will pick him up, because Ray can pick him up and put him in the bathroom and close the door until he's done. Now, we've given the cat like 10 chances to stop trying to run outside. Once he lets Ralphie out, it could be an hour later, it could be 10 minutes later, 5 hours later, it does not matter. Ralphie will stalk Ray through the house and then come flying through the air, claws out, fangs out and just grip into here, grip into here, grip into here, and just rip. He's spiteful. Last night, RJ was playing with him. He will play fetch. So he has this little fish, I was telling Steven, where he throws the fish and the cat will pick up the fish and bring it back to him. But as they were playing, RJ can't touch him. He can't pet him and he can't get too close to him because Ralphie could attack him. So he has to play from a distance with his own pet. But they collided and RJ accidentally got his shin, hit the cat's face. The cat immediately goes down. What's up, TMP Press? Immediately goes down, stops playing, ears go back, and he's slowly rubbing his tail on the floor watching my son. I'm like, okay, he's going to go after him. Ray's like, watch those two because Ralphie's spiteful. I'm like, no way, no way. And I turn around and sure enough, RJ's just sitting there minding his own business playing. Ralphie comes flying through the air, claws out, rips into RJ's leg. Luckily, he was wearing pants and he didn't like claw him, but his claws were out as he was swatting at his leg, trying to get to his skin. No more. Yeah, no more. If can't trust the cat, yeah, no. RJ can't like crawl on the floor if Ralphie's there, like playing with his cars and stuff, because I'm afraid Ralph is going to scratch his face or so. That is the main reason that he cannot stay. And also I'm like, dude, who are you hissing at? Like, this is my house. Like, I'm one of those people, like, pets are a part of the family. Okay.
Don't bite the hand that feeds you.
But don't bite the hand that feeds you. I am not going to cater to this cat $250 cat tree. I mean, I got it off Finger Hut, so it's probably only worth about $125, but still, I'm paying this thing off for this cat. You know, I really wanted to really take care of him, but he's not a good pet for a kid or for a woman. I think he would do well with a single man, and we did find someone for a barn cat. So Thomas, what is up? I was just telling everybody that I was just re-showing the coloring book and telling them that if they color my page, I'm going to give them, I haven't figured out which one yet, but one of my big crystals in a gift box because I'm so proud of that. And then the first one I did, which is the Demon and Claire story, that was my first encounter. It is a true story with a demon. I did a video on it too. And then there is this one where I talks about shadow people. And guys, speaking of shadow entities, let's Thomas, I have some new pictures for you too. I'll send them with the new article. Let's talk about my book that I feel like no one is buying. I took these out, guys.
Oops, wrong
one. Okay, bye, Blue Crossroads. Talk to you later. Love you. Yeah, I was in the middle of a sentence that I forgot.
You were talking about the shadow.
Oh, yeah. Shadow entities, sleep paralysis, and beyond, guys. I put a lot of work, a lot of research into that, just like I do all my books. I think after the Black Eyed Kid book, that's going to be the next one. I'm going to do another short stories book. I'm not sure what about yet. Maybe, you know, I've always wanted to do a cookbook, like ask the spirits, like, give me some recipes, you know? But I found out last night that people have already done that. So I was thinking of maybe like something called like Ghosts of My Past or, you know, something like that. And talk about some of the really interesting spirits that I've met throughout my life. I mean, Jack the Ripper, the Black Dahlia, some who I won't name because I don't want to hurt the families, but I can do aliases. You know, the story, everybody knows the story. I've mentioned the one lady, you know, she was 8.5 months pregnant. She was found in the water. Her husband was convicted. People now think that he might be innocent. You know, and things like that. So I was thinking, and a lot of these stories, you know, because I'm so obsessed with true crime and the paranormal, I do bring in a lot of murder victims and a lot of murderers. So I think that would be very interesting. And I think people would really like it because the short stories book is the bestseller. I believe because people like short stories better. Yeah. You know, I mean, they're easier to read. You don't have to remember where you left off and things like that. But you guys, if you can, or if you want an autographed copy, let me know, okay, of any of the books. Tracy Tritton, give me 1 second on that slow motion. Tracy Tritton, I don't know if you're listening. I was supposed to send her a copy of each of my books. She paid me, and I guess I forgot to send this one, or it just didn't get to her. This is Missing the Fae Theory. I design the covers. I write the back synopsi. Yeah, I'm really proud of my books, guys. It's been a lifelong dream ever since I was a little girl. I've always wanted to be an author. I mean, I wanted to be an actress, work for the FBI, or an author.
Here you go.
Listener, yeah, that's what I just said for him to hold that thought, because I was going to say I would love to do that. But the thing is, I think I would have to, I don't know if I'd have to get permission from the people who send them in to read.
It would be courteous to. I mean, you wouldn't have to, but usually you do it.
Do you know how many people that would be? Like,
probably a lot.
I don't know. I was thinking that too. Like, or just do a book about specifically, like, maybe people, you know, I've met demons. I've been in houses where people have been infested with shadow people who were trying to take them with them. I just kept hearing to take. You know, I've had some crazy experiences, guys, with the dead, with evil and with light. And I really think that people would enjoy hearing some of those stories. And some of them are just funny. You know, I probably can't put the funny ones in a scary book, but I could definitely, you know.
Why not?
There was a guy who smacked his wife with a frying pan because she just wouldn't stop talking one day. He said, I listened to her for 60 years and I got tired of listening to her that morning. So he went and did himself in a few minutes later. He said he just couldn't take her anymore. And they both laugh about it on the other side. They both think it's hilarious because apparently they had done this so many different lifetimes where they grow old and gray together and one of them just gets sick of the other one. I mean, I'm talking 5, 6, 7 incarnations where one of them has gotten tired of the other one at the end of their lives and just off both of them. So, hey, Rose Tyler, what's up, girl? So, yeah, it's
See, you can actually put those funny ones into the book. It's not, if you just say ghost stories or my encounters with ghosts or
my ghosts stories, you know,
right.
like instead of ghost stories, ghosts stories.
Right.
That's actually a good idea.
And you can include everything.
Mike, I think we all can, right? A lot of people, you know, New Jersey was one of the original colonies in the United States. It's very old. I think Paterson was established in like 1758 or 1798. There's a lot of old poisoners running around, a lot of old gangsters running around here. Not just in South Jersey either. I'm talking like, you know, pimp gangsters. A lot of them get a short form release. Yeah. I would have to, I think if I decide to do that, I would talk to you about it. My publisher probably knows too. I just wouldn't want to come to a point where like I would get in trouble for reprinting anything.
Right.
Lifetime stories. Oh, baby UFO. Did you? Oh, you're so sweet. You kept them though. I don't know what I would do. You know, the only time I've ever actually seen, like, aside from at like a zoo or like on a farm or something, believe it or not, Paterson, I've seen chickens. People keep chickens.
Excuse me. Here in Ohio, they made it legal for you to raise chickens even in the city as long as they're properly cared for. Eggs are expensive. Chickens are getting expensive. So a lot of people are raising their own chicken.
People, you can buy chickens on Amazon.
Yeah.
But it's funny because Paterson is, I'm trying to think of Los Angeles, but on a smaller scale. It's crime ridden. Right. It's drug infested. It's gang infested. Well, maybe you know, but I don't think everybody knows that. It's a ghetto, you know. So to see chickens just randomly running around on Main Ave was very bizarre. And Ray was like, no, they keep them around here and they eat them. So I don't know. Really weird. Yes. You can, well, I didn't look myself personally, but I did see a lot of people saying that they were buying chickens off Amazon and raising them to get the eggs. So I assumed it was true because Amazon sells everything.
Yeah, there's a place here in Ohio that you can actually, they keep eggs in incubators, and you can always, as soon as they hatch and the chicks are good enough to go, they sell them. And yeah, you have fresh eggs every day. My Aunt Glad in New Lex, Ohio, she had chickens and geese, and I'll tell you what, geese eggs for breakfast. Every so often you get the double yolks, and they're really big. Oh,
Really?
best eggs! Yeah, you can. They're the best eggs you can eat, man. They're good.
Someone just said something that I wanted to, excuse me, hit by the frying pan and into the hellfire. Yeah, hell is what we think it is. Your afterlife will definitely be what you think it's going to be, guys. Always remember that. So if you want to, and I'm not forcing anybody, but I know if you want to live your life trying to raise your vibration, getting spiritually aligned, and understanding more of what's happening, energetically between you and your guides, communicating with them, you will start to feel a lightness about you, that you kind of know that everything's going to be okay, in your life and after. I do believe there is a hell, so to speak. I just did the video on portals, but like I said, I do believe there is a Catholic version of hell or a Christian version of hell, depending what you believe. But I believe that you go there if you believe you're going there. Because let me tell you something. I've been to funerals, not many because I don't like them. I will tell you a few things about funerals that are absolute fact. Okay. The first thing is, every person who dies, if there's a funeral, they are there at the bottom of the coffin. They want to see what you dress them in. They want to hear what people say. Okay. And I'm telling you guys this, you could believe me or not. It doesn't matter to me.
Seen it myself.
They stand at the bottom of the coffin. They do work their way through the room. More often than not, they're at the bottom of the coffin. Okay. They want to know what, like I said, what did you dress them in? What's everyone saying? Now, the light that comes when you pass, it comes for murderers too. It comes for serial killers too. Not that I've ever been to their funerals, but I've spoken to them. Okay. A lot of times people are contracted to do this. They're contracted to be serial killers. They have contracts with their victims to kill them. Okay. I know this doesn't make sense to a lot of people. Okay. But understand that it is true. So how can they be punished and put to hell if they were contracted to do this? Yeah, I texted you back, Mike. I was like, well, I hope you get this one. I'm good. So, I will also say that the light will stay, the final memorial service, however many there are, usually it takes like 3 days. Up to 72 hours, the light will stay and it'll diminish. And then you end up being an earthbound spirit. Now, I've tricked several earthbound spirits into someone else's light. It's not a particular light just for you. Understand? Right. It's a universal light.
Right.
And it also comes when pets die, when animals pass. Okay. So if you are someone like me who can kind of collect earthbound spirits, you bring them to a funeral, they kind of piggyback on that person's light. They can cross that way. Or you can find someone like me who can make the light for them. But before I knew how to do that, that was something I came up with. And I found out recently that I'm not the only one who's ever done that. Yeah, I don't like to talk about him too much, but that major leader that had to do with World War II, people got mad at me, and I actually had some people unsubscribe to my channel because I was saying how he was contracted to do that. That doesn't excuse what he did. That doesn't say that I agree with what he did or I think it's right. I think it's horrible. It's shameful. And I think if anyone should have gone to hell, it should be someone like him. But he was contracted for change, to bring in dramatic and drastic change and to get people's attention about how the world was then, what could happen if people didn't really start helping other people. And if we didn't start coming together, right?
Right.
Like 9/11. We all came together, living in New Jersey and being able to see where the towers were from where I lived at the time to seeing them not there anymore, and hearing all the New York radio stations, they would stay on longer because people would call in crying. That was supposed to happen to bring us more together as a collective. That doesn't mean I'm advocating for it. I think it's terrible. And I don't understand why things like that have to happen to bring us together as a collective or to make change, but it does. So if you're thinking of a concept of hell, I don't know where that comes into play, why people would go there. Because there's always a light. There always is. I have someone in my family who murdered someone with a frozen Pepsi bottle back in, the 60s. And everybody in the family knew he did it, but we ain't no snitches, I mean, I was way too young when I found out about it, and he passed when I was 10. But there was a light at his funeral. I had to go. It was my paternal grandfather. I had to go. I knew he was there, and I knew what he did, and there was a light for him. So yeah, actually, it'd be up to 3 days after the final memorial service. So I just want to say this too. I know that if I cremate someone, I have a memorial service. I know that funerals are really expensive right now, but I don't want to say you should. I will be always having memorial services if it's up to me, even if the person's cremated, because they kind of need that closure to move on. To move into that light. That's how a lot of people end up earthbound. So
we have wakes. The Davises have a wake.
If you haven't dreamt about your loved one, it could be that they haven't passed on yet. It doesn't mean that they're stuck here, but it could mean that they haven't passed on yet. So that's how you end up remaining earthbound, because I don't know. I know there are some people who want to wait. Like, I think it's different for murdered victims because they sometimes want to attend their trial too. So I don't know how that works really. I actually, it's a good question I should ask next time. Because if the light goes away, it's not there for trial, but I know several murder victims that have crossed over. So how did they cross over? So maybe it comes back for them after the trial. There has to be a closure. The unfinished business thing, it really is true for the most part, guys. But you can bet if you go to a funeral, the person who passed is at that funeral. They usually will move on right when the minister or priest or whoever it is gets up to give the sermon or service. That's usually when they'll come, because their loved ones will be in the light. They can see them. They can't hear them, but they'll see them there going like, I mean, I've seen it at least a dozen times, and I've heard about it from a lot of spirits. Science.
Yeah, see, we have we're from Hills, so they have a 3-day wake. We didn't do it for our mom. We were going to, but Dad was like not into it. But yeah, usually there's 3 days where they have a wake.
I think that's a good amount of time. I mean, it gives people a chance. Not everyone can get to a wake between 7 and 9. On a Thursday night, and plus, like, in places like where we live, the ground does freeze in the winter, so what do you do there? So I would just say that it's a good idea to at least have some kind of remembrance within the first 72 hours. I mean, that's just a suggestion, but when they will, some of them, if they were a jerk in life, they're going to be a jerk in death. If they were a mean old lady in life, they're going to be a mean old lady in death until they cross over. So if they were, almost a predator in real life, they could take that jump when they cross over, decide to stay earthbound so that they can spy on you in the shower, so that they can torment your kids, so that they can do bad things to you while you're in bed by yourself, things like that. So, I love repasses because I love food. I know that much. But you guys are amazing. Yeah, but Mike, it was back in like the 60s when you could do things like that and kind of
get away with it.
Get away with it a little bit, especially if you lived in a place like Patterson and you have a last name like my last name, which is, and I'm not bragging because I don't use that I don't. In my addiction, I did. I was like, don't you know who I am? Like, serious? Because I was one of the only minorities in the area. So people would be like, what do you think you're doing walking around here? I've gotten pulled over walking down the street for being the color I am. And I'm not making a political statement. I'm just talking about my experience. So then I would be like, Dad, like, I'm so-and-so's daughter. I'm so-and-so's granddaughter. Like, and they're like, oh, okay. Because my dad, nobody really knows my dad's first name. And they've been running the streets with him for 30 years. They only know him as his last name.
Right.
So when I started using the last name, which is also a first name, people are like, you were named after your dad? And I'm like, dude, that's our last name. They're like, oh my God, I did not know that. Like, I had no idea. I'm like, yeah, why would you? Like, we're in the ghetto. We're addicts. Like, we are not going to give you our personal information.
Yeah, you say my name and 50 of us turn around. Davis, huh?
My stepmom and sister wanted to wait, so we did the celebration of life a couple weeks ago. No funeral. They're always there. They are. I know I heard another medium say that men are always looking for how many cars are in the funeral procession, and women are always looking at what they're wearing. I've noticed, that was a while ago though, I've noticed like more recently, they're really just interested in what people had to say about them, what their legacy is. They can't read minds, just regardless of what many people say. Spirits cannot read your mind. If you're a medium, they can after they've crossed over telepathically communicate if they choose to, but normally they don't choose to do that. Dumped him in Halo Bay. Yeah. Oh, that's another. I don't know why this made me think of that. That's actually pretty cool. I don't know why this made me think of that, but I think it's because I've been getting emails lately from people asking me to come and do an investigation. Thinking their house is built on an Indian burial ground. Can we talk about the Indian burial ground thing real quick before we leave? I don't know if it got started with the Poltergeist movie. So there is, Rose Tyler, hold that thought. There is a chance, depending on where you live and pretty much all over, at least in the United States, that an Indian was probably, or a Native American. I'm half Native American and I still say Indian, so I'm not trying to be politically incorrect. That one's buried somewhere, or that one was killed somewhere, or that some war was fought somewhere near where you are, especially in New York and New Jersey, okay? But can we talk about how they traveled? A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them were nomadic and they burned their dead or sent them down the river. So how many Indian burial grounds do we really think are out there? Doesn't mean they don't exist. I'm not saying there aren't any, but do you know the odds of your house being built on an Indian burial ground? Maybe on top of some old bones of someone who was buried, or on a cemetery. It really doesn't happen. Even if the cemetery was kind of knocked down, normally, at least in this day and age, I guess, they do move the bodies or do something with them. The base seemed convenient. So Rose Tyler, I'm going to address this real quick and then I've got to go. I've got a lot of writing to do. I keep seeing how my best friend was killed in her car accident. It's disturbing. Every time I see Ford Ranger, I have a panic attack because that's what she was driving. So do you feel like you're, because I know like when I see something like that, it's because the person's trying to show me like, hey, there's something weird with this. Do you feel like it's your own mind trying to process the grief, or do you think that your friend is forcing you to see this? And if so, I mean, what would the reason be, right? I don't see that. I don't see that it's being given to you, but if it is, I wonder why. There's always a reason. Your friend isn't going to want you to suffer through that over and over again for no reason, unless, there's some clue or something that you're supposed to be seeing and presenting. Otherwise, please try and meditate, or at least call on your guardian angels to help you with that, okay? Burn some sage. It's like lingering mental energy in the lowest form. You having these attacks. And
yes, they did.
Did they?
Yes, they did. Actually, I did a research on that movie.
That's
for some
no
guy.
Good. Oh,
what
no.
happened? They ran out of fake skeletons, and they needed a lot for that one scene, so they actually used real skeletons.
That pisses me off.
You know, that whole set was cursed. This guy I did some research for. He did a whole thing about all these cursed movies, and it's
Well,
because of stuff like that.
I would be reluctant. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm like I said, I still have a little bit of strep infection. I'd be reluctant to use the word curse. But yeah, that definitely. I just watched a whole thing about cursed movies, and I was laughing. I'm like, yeah, okay, but I thought that they said, I thought the directors of the movie said that they did not use real skeletons, but I mean, they would say that, wouldn't they? They
Yeah,
wouldn't want to get in trouble.
They did.
Listen, I'd be reluctant to use the word curse, and I don't think the spirits of the deceased care about what their bodies ended up, but that's just bad juju. That's bad karma. That's bad energy.
I always called them haunted movie sets.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't like is people messing with the dead. Okay, I really don't. You have to understand, they've been my friends ever since I was little. When I had nobody else, when I felt abandoned and alone, it was the dead, random ones or ones that would just stick by me and follow me wherever I went. You know, I don't like seeing dead trapped. I don't like seeing their bodies desecrated. It pisses me off. I get mad when people use Ouija boards and they don't know what they're doing because they could end up calling a spirit in and then accidentally, you know, closing whatever the thing is that brings the spirit in. And then now that the spirit came to talk to you, and because you're immature in whatever it is that you're doing, like in your studies, or if you just decided the Ouija board is a game, you've now trapped this poor soul that was already. You can't do things like that. You shouldn't mess with things like that, guys. And I'm so sorry. Baby UFO, thank you so much for the amazing donation. I can't wait to see that on the 21st. Yeah, it is disrespectful. And again, not because body, like this is just one body. Our soul moves on to different incarnations, but it's just, I don't know the words. Okay. You don't do that. You don't do it. I've got to go, guys. Mike, I will try resending that text. Rose Tyler or and you know, if you always need to, if you ever need to talk, I'm always here. Ghost Dragons, I love you. I've got a lot of writing to do today, but I will definitely talk to you soon, guys. We will see you on Wednesday nights at 7:15 p.m. Eastern for live intuitive oracle. No new decks this week, but I still have so many new decks that we're just getting to try out and starting out with. If you're waiting on a personal intuitive oracle reading, I should be finishing them up today, so you'll have them by tomorrow or the next day, because again, I have slow Wi-Fi. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming in. Thomas, I know you're listening, or I think you are. Thank you so much for being so awesome. Don't forget, I'm going to come down to the swamps with you guys. The way Connor said, he's like, yeah, I'd like to see her down here in the swamps. I'm gonna learn you guys a thing or two. I love you all. Please hit the thumbs up. If you can, leave a positive comment in the comment section. PayPal and Cash App donations accepted. Of course, that information is also in the description box, as well as Missing the Fae Theory, Encounters with Evil, 101 True and Terrifying Stories, and Shadow Entities, Sleep Paralysis, and Beyond. Soon to come, Danger at Your Doorstep, Encounters with the Black-Eyed Kids. It's not just encounters. There's information in there as well. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, folks.